Let's do our Raid Shadow Legends, and we're going to be checking out the updated lore story for Pyxniel. Now, the reason why I say updated is because I covered her lore story like 4 years ago when she first came out, and I believe she was like a Christmas winter holiday fusion champ at the time. And I mean, I gotta say, she looks amazing. Like, Raid killed it with her design. I wish that she was better overall, but I mean, she's just a beautiful, absolutely beautiful champion. So I'm looking forward to rereading her story, and I hope that Raid did some justice for her. So let's check it out together. The very tallest of the Cloudspire Mountains is called Skybreach, and sometimes also known as the Occluded Peak. It towers over its surroundings and extends into the heavens, and its slopes are surrounded by a haze of glittering, wind-blown frost, for which it earns its title. But on rare occasions, the clouds are clear and the winds die down, and when the sun shines upon the peak of Skybreach, there can be glimpsed a dazzlingly reflective pillar, a tower of pure ice that shines blindingly. Therein abides Pyxniel, the peak's gaze, one of the most ancient and powerful sorceresses in the history of Teleria. Above even the clouds themselves, her mystic eye watches for encroaching darkness. Centuries ago, during the First Great War between Lemea and her Arbiter against the dread darkness of Seraph, Pyxniel was an exalted Archmage. She is said to have been friend, sometimes lover, of the heroic Basilius Roannes, who was called the Great White Eagle. She defended the Arbiter's tower with staunch and bitter resolve against the fiery hordes of demon spawn. She cut down scores with talons of frost and missiles of sharpened ice, and when the foe turned to flee, they found their escape blocked by towering glacial walls. She produced blizzards to obscure the movement of troops and sow confusion in the enemy, following them up with waves of spectacular lethal ice darts. The Arbiter herself, watching Pyxniel and her principles of ice magic, was impressed. After an era of strife and devastation, the war was won by the forces of light. However, the worrisome truth is that the Arbiter and her forces had been pushed to nearly the breaking point, and she was in need of new sources of power and new tools to use against the immortal enemy, who she knew would inevitably attempt more invasions of Teleria. Seeing that Pyxniel possessed exceptional mastery of cryomancy that exceeded her own, the Arbiter approached Pyxniel personally and, to the shock of the Frost Mage, begged a favor: to tutor her in ice magic. Pyxniel was overjoyed and honored to serve the goddess's chosen, and agreed. They traveled to the Cloudspire Mountains, a place of bitter cold, where they could shake the snows and blast epic gouts of elemental frost without fear of damaging civilization. There on the slopes of Skybreach, for months and months, the two pushed each other's talents to new heights. Not only destructive spells of war, but delicate and creative works as well were shared between the mortal and the envoys of Lemea. The Arbiter learned to weave snow and ice into walls, spikes, pits, and even mechanisms. While Pyxniel slept and ate, the Arbiter relaxed by forming intricate sculptures from the glacial crust and the ice flowing at her command. Then it was back to drilling in martial cryomancy, unleashing frosty blasts and shaping lethal Delian blades, upheaving the snow to induce avalanches, and conjuring elemental servitors to assail a hypothetical enemy. Since Pyxniel was attuned to cold, she was largely immune to its ravages, and so made a perfect sparring partner for the Arbiter. Hillfolk and herdsmen 100 miles away sometimes glimpsed the flashes of glittering rime and bursts of exploding snow created by their duels, and heard the distant rumble of their spellcraft borne on the freezing winds. Eventually, Pyxniel judged her pupil her equal in frost magic. As a final test of payment for her services, Pyxniel asked the Arbiter to raise a tower of ice, a copy of the Arbiter's tower which Pyxniel had defended so faithfully. Relishing the task, the Arbiter lovingly sculpted a gleaming white citadel atop the great mountain of their training. Her mentorship complete, Pyxniel now requested a final boon from the Arbiter. She wished to remain atop her new tower to watch over the Cloudspire Mountains and even the distant winterlands at the northern roof of the world. But she felt the pangs of age and knew that her vigil would someday end in death. The Arbiter blessed the Tower of Skybreach so that Pyxniel would not age while she remained therein. In dire need, the elven magic can go forth to fight the Arbiter's foes and spend her precious coin of life. But for as long as she remained in her tower, she serves as an eternal sentinel watching for danger on the horizon. Even as the Arbiter's power has waned, her covenant with Pyxniel, the peak's gaze, has held true. And should the need ever be dire, the elven sorceress would gladly join the Arbiter forever in a shard, just as her beloved Roanna's did. Okay, guys, I like that story. So they have Pyxniel, who actually was this, like, ice mage, right? She was, well, they said she was an exalted archmage who specialized in ice. And I love that they have that Arbiter came to kind of train with her and learn that. And it makes me think, again, because it talked about like cryomancy, right? Is that the Arbiter might have learned to use some of that later on when trying to suspend animation with champs, like in the shards and stuff like that, right? Because we've had them connect stories like that with some other champions on how the Arbiter put together the use of the shards for champs. But I do like this story for Pyxniel. I think they did a really good job. If I recall, like her original kind of had her encased in ice somewhere and she was waiting to be found. So I kind of like what the direction that they went with this. I'd love to know what you guys think for the lore story Pyxniel. Drop me a comment down below, and thanks for watching.